The purpose of this video is to show you how to create a table in Microsoft Word. Tables are critical in storing data and displaying that data in laboratory reports. Let's assume that we want to create the table that you see on the screen in front of you. A couple of important features of this table before we move to Microsoft Word to create it. First, notice the table has a heading, Table 1, the mass and volume data for water. Second, notice that the table has 3 columns. And finally, notice that the table has 4 rows. These are critical elements when we begin to create the table in Microsoft Word. To create the table itself, simply move to Microsoft Word and open a blank Microsoft Word document. Before we create the table, let's type in the table heading. Table 1, mass and volume data for water. Hit return, and we are now ready to create the table itself. Click the Insert button, or tab. Click on Table, and click Insert Table. In the dialog box that appears, you can specify the number of columns, in our case 3, and number of rows, in our case 4, that go in the table. There are other options to play with here. However, these are the only options you need to set to get a basic table. To display the table, click OK. Now that we have our table, we can enter data. In the interest of time, I am simply going to copy and paste data from the original table I have in Microsoft PowerPoint into the data table I created in Word. Most of the time, however, you won't be able to do this. You will simply need to type in the data by hand. A few notes about entering data into the table. First and foremost, if it is data that requires a unit, you have to put the unit either in the heading to the cell or heading to the column, as you see here with mass. In parentheses, I have put in grams. Or you have to attach data to each number. It is preferable to attach the data unit at the top or in the heading cell as opposed to each number. That, and it's simply easier. Second of all, once you have entered data into the cells, you can change various things about that data. For example, you can change the font color. If you go back to the Home tab, you can change its alignment from center, as I have it now, to say left. I like it centered. It looks better. So I'm going to change it back. You can also change the colors of the cells and other various options. However, colorful tables are not required for lab reports in this course. You simply need a useful table like the one we have created. The final step in the process, of course, is to save that table. Go to the File tab, click on Save, and select a place to save our file. In this case, I'm going to save it to the desktop on my computer. And I'll simply, for now, call it Table 1. Now it's your turn. Open a blank Microsoft Word document. Place your name at the top of the page. Underneath your name, place the title, Lab Report Basics. And as you work through the remainder of the videos in the Lab Report D2L module, you will add elements to this document. The first of those elements will be a table, which I'll show you on the next slide. Be sure to save your changes frequently. At the end of the module, you'll be given instructions on how to upload that document to D2L for a grade. Here is the table I want you to create. Make sure that you create the table with the appropriate number of rows and columns. Make sure that you have an appropriate heading for your table, and make sure that you include units at the head of each column as appropriate. Pause the video now so that you can see the table on your screen while you create it in Microsoft Word. When you're done, save your changes to the Microsoft Word document, close the video, and move to the next video in the module.